Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. There's been some big breaking news today, and that is that Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr USYK will be getting on their rematch, and it will be on Sky Sports pay-per-view. It will be on August the 20th, but there is still some controversy here, and that is regarding the pricing, and there are still some serious ramifications when it comes to this pricing. This is not just a moan-up. Oh, it's an extra £2 more expensive. Allow me to explain why this could have some serious ramifications. But first and foremost, initially, I actually thought as a potential solution to the crisis, something that I was speaking to Jamie Bourne about yesterday, I thought that a potential solution may have been for the BBC to step in. You know, the BBC provides a global reach that is even greater than that of Sky, and the Saudi Arabians are not necessarily interested in the money spinning effects of sport in Saudi Arabia. That's not to say they're averse to making a buck or two, but their primary aim is to use sports as a soft power tool. It is to convince the world that Saudi Arabia has changed, that Saudi Arabia is now more palatable to the Western world, for instance. It is essentially to rebrand the nation, and they want you to be associating Saudi Arabia with the glitz and glamour of these major sporting events rather than other more controversial topics that people have shone a light onto. So that might have been an opportunity for them. That isn't to be the case now. Now what we know is that Rage on the Red Sea will be occurring on Sky Sports. But the controversy is still there. And one of the controversial aspects is the price hike. Had it been on DAZN, it would have been apparently around £15 for subscribers and around £24 or £25 for non-subscribers. So it's £2 more expensive than that. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at this and say, Chris, what's the big deal? This is a monster main event. It's only £2. You know, people have always got an option. If they don't like it, they don't have to buy it and stuff like that. And I understand that. I get what you're saying. Free market and all that. However, you also have to understand the knock-on effect, the domino effect of doing these sorts of things. It's only 5 years ago that we had Errol Spence and Kell Brook fighting in the UK for a pay-per-view price of about $16.95. So it's risen £10 in 5 years. If you're at the top of a particular pole, say, you're hanging at the top and you fall and you hit the bottom quickly, you're going to realize the person that pushed you down, you're going to be furious at. You're going to feel the impact of that fall. Whereas when you're slipping and sliding down that slope slowly, you don't realize there isn't as much of a panic. And that is the concept of a slippery slope. So what you see is that these gradual hikes in pricing are now happening a lot more quickly. You're also seeing that this seems to occur after every Anthony Joshua defeat or rematch. When he lost to Andy Ruiz, I think it was £20, $19.99 for that fight. The rematch then went up to $24.95. It stayed the same for his fights against Pulev and Usyk. And then after he's lost to Usyk again, we've seen another hike. So you keep seeing these little hikes, these little shifts. Now that it's at 27, how long before we start to see it at 29 or 30, right? 29.99. How long before we start to see that for, quote unquote, a really major boxing event like Fury Joshua, say, or something like that? Now, for a lot of people in this current economic environment, this is difficult because you're paying a subscription to Sky and you're paying a subscription to DAZN, and then you're paying this stuff on top of that. Let's say you're a father of 2 or 3 and maybe you've had some difficulties financially over the last couple of years with everything that's been occurring around the world. We're also seeing the economy take a major beating globally. Inflation is up, food prices is up. All these issues add up. And so how much disposable income does an individual have? Now, I'm not bringing this up for some sort of, moral high ground where I'm just moaning for the sake of moaning. There is a purpose to this when it comes to the sport of boxing. And that is that it could actually be damaging long term, not just to how many people are willing to invest and therefore how many fans you get coming to the sport, which could potentially affect long-term interest in the sport. It's not just that, because if we're being honest, that £2 increase is probably not going to turn off enough people who would have otherwise bought the fight at £25 for it not to be beneficial to Sky from a financial perspective, at least in the short term. However, where it does play a role is that for those that will say enough is enough, you're going to have a lot of people that look at streams. Bob Arum, for instance, came out and said that one of the major stumbling blocks for making the Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight was piracy. In other words, illegal streaming, the stealing of the fight, so to speak, online from fans that weren't willing to pay for it. So it's people that are interested in the product, consumers that are interested in the product but are not willing to pay. You have to understand that the experience of watching a fight on a proper official stream like the Zone or on TV, even better, to be honest with you, is so much better than an illegal stream. So the average fan doesn't want to be stealing the stream, so to speak. They don't want to be engaging in what Bob Arum calls piracy. They want to be able to pay for the event and be able to enjoy the event. But when people feel that they are being fleeced, or if they can't afford it, or if they're struggling to make ends meet, you're going to get a lot of fans that are not going to want to miss out. It's as simple as that. I've been a long-term boxing fan for all these years, but I've got children. I can't afford to do it. It's cost me a lot of money. Everything that's going on in the world this year, I'm giving enough money to these people, to Sky. I'm paying my regular subscription. I pay all their pay-per-views, and they keep fleecing me. That's how they're going to see it. And so long-term, you're going to get some damage being caused. Yes, okay, in the short term for this particular fight, it may not be a major knock. There may not be that many people that aren't going to be willing to pay it. But you will get some people that will say enough is enough and I'm just going to stream it. And every single time this happens, you're going to see an increase in that happening. So for me, it's short-sighted. For me, they need to have it at an affordable price whereby, bear in mind, you're trying to get casual crossover fans. Hardcore boxing fans might say, well, what's 27, what's 25, I'm going to pay it. Even if, you know, they've only got limited disposable income, they're going to look at this and say it's a massive fight, I really want to see it. But that's not where you're trying to build the market. You're trying to build the market, say, football fans that don't really watch boxing but are only interested in the big events. If you're really going to push that promotion, you want those guys to be buying it and to want to buy it rather than stream it in the hope that they fall in love with the sport and then they become proper full-time hardcore boxing fans. So for me, it's short-sighted, it's greed, it's nothing other than greed, but it's a slippery slope. Let me know what your position is on this. I am very excited that we will get a proper broadcaster showing the fight here in the UK. I'm sure you guys are too. Let me know your position on everything. Thanks for watching. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.